the best of the best, bar none. There is no one else even remotely in her league in women's gymnastics. I guess in an attempt to be inclusive and virtuous, decided to sell out all women and girls who have dreams to achieve and to succeed, and to specifically personally attack and body shame me.
You speak of faith in your book, and one particular time before this competition, you actually were praying to God, praying, I want this so bad. How much does faith shape your life as a gymnast?
I think faith shapes a lot of it just because I can go to him at any time and he knows exactly what I need, and it can calm me down.
Simone Biles, is she a woman of faith? Let's talk about it. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. I hope all is well. So there has been some controversy with Simone Biles and Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines is a swimmer. Back in 2022, she had raced against a transgender woman, a person who is biologically a male, a man. This person that she went up against, name is Lily Thomas, in which she tied for 5th place. And I feel like since then she has been on her mission is to speak up against trans people, trans men, trans women participating in women sports. Now, let's go back. So there was a tweet about this trans athlete who won the state championships against girls, but this person was born a biological male. So there was a tweet about it, and Riley Gaines had said, who won the state championships against girls, but this person was born a biological male. So there was a tweet about it, and Riley Gaines had said, comments off, LOL, to be expected when your star player is a boy. And then we see Simone Biles, who is a Christian, who claims to be a Christian, I believe, and says to Riley Gaines, "You are truly sick. All of this complaining because you lost a race. Straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports. Maybe a transgender category in all sports. But instead, you bully them. One thing for sure is no one in sports is safe with you around." And then she goes on to say, bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male. Simone Biles says, what? You're a sore loser. I would be a sore loser too. Even though she did not lose that race, she tied with the trans athlete, with the biological man. But look, I will be upset too. Like, how are you going to allow this man to be in a race with me and I'm a woman? And then say nothing about it. How do you expect me to compete against men and win all the time, right? But finding ways to make it inclusive, finding ways to make it safe for them. Now, Simone said nothing about this when she was participating. Now, Simone is one of the greatest athletes ever, right? And for her, who is fighting for girls, who inspire girls, who inspire women, have an issue with people speaking up against biological men going against biological women in sports and celebrating that. the body shaming that Simone Biles said towards Riley Gaines. She said that she looks like a man, basically. But we know a few years before, there were people talking about Simone Biles' body, her body image, her body physique. And they were saying that it looks like a man's body, or that she looks like a man. And she spoke up against that. But she goes back and body shames Riley Gaines. Now let's listen to what Riley Gaines has to say about this.
Let me get something straight. It's my job. It's the women's job. This is what Simone Biles is saying. It's the women's job to find a way for the men's feelings to be validated, for their identity to be affirmed. That's not my job, actually, at all. So to say I should be doing this is insane. If she wants to use her platform to uplift men and women's sports, then by all means. But it's certainly not my job, and I don't believe it's the job of any woman to do this. Let's unpack this. Brief background on me. Outspoken Christian, outspoken conservative, outspoken Trump supporter, outspoken advocate for keeping men out of women's sports, which is just about the least controversial take on the entire planet.
So what's your reaction to this? Biles is calling you a, quote, sore loser, trying to compare you to a man. Do you think Simone Biles would accept losing a gold medal to a biological male gymnast?
No, of course I don't. And I say that pretty confidently, given the timing of which she has come out in support of men and women's sports. She is done competing. Why didn't she say this in 2020 or 2021 or 2022 or the last Olympics? It's because she now can say this confidently and emphatically because she knows she won't have to compete against a man or a boy. It's the same thing Megan Rapinoe did. It's actually the definition of pulling up the ladder behind you. Done competing. It's easy to say the thing you think to be virtuous or kind or inclusive, but really what Simone Biles is advocating for here is exclusion, and it's exclusion of women and girls from the women and girls category.
You know, Riley, didn't Simone Biles tweet in 2017, quote, "Good things guys do not compete against girls or he'd take all the gold medals"?
Yeah, I don't know how 2025 Simone Biles has reconciled with the fact that 2017 Simone Biles is a truly disgusting bully by her own standard, again, based on the tweet that she referred to me as those things. Again, I think it goes to show you that wokeness, it really blinds the ability to think logically or rationally or to be able to engage in civil discourse. Because again, what she did here was nothing of any substance. It was personal attacks, calling me a bully, calling me a sore loser, going on to then say I look like a man, which is really rich coming from Simone Biles, number one, because she has been involved with so many different body positivity campaigns.
I'm Simone Biles, and I love my body. It helps with gymnastics, and it teaches younger girls to love their bodies as well. I got made fun of for my arms a lot. Some people would say like mean things. They used to call me like a soldier. At the time, it didn't make me feel the best, so I wore sweaters or jackets all year long. To body shamers, let me see. But I feel like if you love your body, then that's all you can do, so it doesn't matter what anybody else says. So I think they have to learn to fall in love with themselves. And I think it's out of jealousy.
But being a woman of faith, as she says,
You know, it's interesting because you hear so much about young people who are not really religious and they don't believe. You know, do you ever have spiritual conversations with other gymnasts about your faith at all?
Here and there, it doesn't really get brought up because everyone's different. Even our Olympic team, we have one Christian, two Catholic, and then two Jewish. So it's very different. But I mean, I think it's all special how we share faith in our own ways, and it helped us together on the Olympic team.
That's amazing.
and then agreeing with this unfairness and agreeing with this and agreeing with promoting, encouraging transgender people to participate in sports in which is unfair. Doing that is not the way of a Christian. Now, look, you can do what you want to do. You know, we We love you as Christians. We love the transgender. We love you all. But it doesn't mean that we have to accept what you're doing. It doesn't mean that we have to accept your lifestyle. We will treat you with love again. We'll treat you with love and help you the best way that we can. But it doesn't mean that we have to agree with your lifestyle. And here it looks like Simone Biles is agreeing and promoting their lifestyle, right? Simone Biles will probably have, and Riley Gaines is right. Why doesn't Simone Biles promote a trans section or trans sports, right? Why doesn't she do that? You do it on your platform. But speaking out against this, again, Riley Gaines, says that she's a Christian, but speaking out against this, there's nothing wrong. And Simone has received a lot of backlash for this, right? But, as we listen to Simone, she says a lot about what she did as a Christian, what she did growing up in a Christian household, going to church and going to Bible study and things like that. But, she doesn't have a relationship with Christ. If she's going to stand for this, she doesn't have a relationship with Christ at all. If she wants to celebrate a trans athlete, a trans girl who was biologically a man beating girls in sports for the championship and celebrating that, that's not the way of a Christian. Let's go to Romans, the second chapter and the second verse. And it says, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. I don't believe his will is for someone to be who they're not, someone to change who they are, try to change their gender, who is not happy with who they made them, who he made her, who he made him, right? One who believes that God made a mistake and this is not how this person was supposed to live. They're not supposed to live as a boy, but they feel like they're supposed to live as a girl. They're not supposed to live as a girl, so they feel like they are supposed to live as a boy. Going against God, saying God made a mistake. This is not the way. This is not God's will. As a Christian, I believe as a person who claims that their faith leads them in everything that they do, this is not the way. And like I said, it's so easy to stand up for something when it doesn't affect you directly. To speak out about something when it doesn't affect you directly. It's so easy to do that, to give your opinion, right? But anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts about the Simone Biles and Riley Gaines situation. God bless you all.